April 26, 1986, 1:23 a.m. A routine safety test at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant goes wrong. Not slightly wrong. Catastrophically, irreversibly, historically wrong. In 40 seconds, reactor number 4 explodes with a force 400 times greater than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. The roof blows off. Radioactive material shoots directly into the open sky, and a cloud of invisible death begins drifting silently across Europe. But the explosion wasn't the worst part. What came next was, deep beneath the burning reactor, there was water. Thousands of tons of it sitting in a pool directly under the molten core. If that superheated nuclear material, burning at 2,000 degrees, reached that water, it would trigger a second explosion. Scientists estimated it would be big enough to destroy everything within 30 kilometers, render Kiev uninhabitable, contaminate the water supply for 50 million people across Europe for decades. The math was simple and terrifying. Someone had to go down there and drain that water manually. Someone had to go into the most radioactive place on Earth, on foot, in the dark, through flooded tunnels, with equipment that may or may not work, knowing full well what that level of radiation does to a human body. 3 men volunteered: Alexei Ananenko, Valery Bespalov, Boris Baranov. They weren't soldiers. They weren't heroes in any Hollywood sense. They were engineers and a shift supervisor. Ordinary men in an impossible situation. They were told directly, "You will likely not survive this." They said yes anyway. They were given wetsuits that offered almost no real protection against radiation. They were handed faulty flashlights, and they walked into the darkness beneath a melting nuclear reactor, water up to their knees, searching manually for the valves that needed to be opened. No GPS, no communication, no way to know how much radiation they were absorbing with every single step. It took them hours, but they found the valves. They opened them. The water began to drain. They walked back out. The second explosion never happened. 50 million people went about their lives that week, completely unaware that 3 men had just walked through hell to save them. For years, the world believed all 3 had died within days from acute radiation sickness. That became the accepted story, the tragic ending that made the sacrifice feel complete. But here's what most people don't know. 2 of the 3 men, Ananenko and Bespalov, are still alive today. They gave interviews as recently as 2021, living quiet, ordinary lives, occasionally asked about that night, never quite comfortable with the word hero. Boris Baranov passed away in 2005, but from heart failure, not radiation. 3 men walked into the most dangerous place on Earth with faulty equipment and a death sentence, and they came back. The explosion that would have changed the map of Europe forever never happened. Not because of governments, not because of armies, because of 3 engineers who decided that someone had to do it, and that someone may as well be them. We remember Chernobyl for the disaster, for the evacuation, for the HBO series. But the real story of Chernobyl isn't about what went wrong. It's about what 3 ordinary men refused to let happen.